It started like most family fights do, over something stupidly small. Our daughter Sophia wanted to go to a concert with friends, and I said no because it was on a school night. My wife Kim sided with Sophia, and before I knew it, I was outnumbered 2-1, with my teenage son Dylan jumping in to back them up. "Dad, you're so controlling. You never let us do anything," Sophia screamed, storming upstairs. "Maybe if you'd stop being such a hard ass all the time, they wouldn't resent you," Kim hissed, following Sophia to comfort her. Dylan just shook his head at me with that look teenagers perfect, pure disappointment mixed with superiority, before disappearing into his room. Standing alone in our kitchen, I felt something break inside me. Not anger, but something deeper and more troubling. Exhaustion. For 15 years, I'd worked 60-hour weeks to afford this house in this neighborhood with these schools. I drove a 10-year-old Honda while Kim had a new SUV. I hadn't taken a real vacation in 3 years. And somehow, I'd become the villain in my own home. After an hour of tense silence, Kim came downstairs, arms crossed. "Well, Sophia's waiting for an apology." I looked up from my laptop where I'd been mindlessly scrolling news sites. For what? Parenting. For being unreasonable and ruining her social life. Again, the concert ends at midnight on a Tuesday. She has a math test Wednesday morning. God, listen to yourself. This is why they both think you're impossible. The argument escalated as it always did, past the original issue into years of accumulated resentments. "You're suffocating them with your rules and expectations," Kim shouted. "And you're undermining every boundary I try to set." I shot back. "Because your boundaries are ridiculous. You're turning into your father." That was below the belt. My father was an emotionally distant workaholic who died with a corner office and no real connection to his family. I'd spent my adult life trying not to be him. The fight reached its crescendo when Kim delivered her ultimatum. "Apologize to Sophia or leave. I mean, at this time, David. We can't keep doing this." I stared at her. This woman I'd loved for 17 years, now a stranger demanding I surrender my parental authority or get out of my own home. "Those aren't the only options," I said quietly. "What's that supposed to mean?" I didn't answer. Instead, I grabbed my jacket and car keys. "So you're choosing to leave?" "Typical," Kim scoffed. I paused at the door. "I'm not leaving. I'm just not apologizing either. I'm going for a drive to clear my head." "Whatever. Don't expect us to wait up." As I pulled out of the driveway, I had no plan, just a desperate need for space to think. I turned off my phone notifications and drove toward the interstate, the weight of years of feeling underappreciated and misunderstood pressing down on me. I didn't know then that I wouldn't be coming home that night, or the next, or that when I finally turned my phone back on, I would find 50 missed calls and my family's world turned upside down. I drove for hours that night, ending up at a seaside motel about 3 hours from home. It was one of those dated places with exterior corridors and thin mattresses, but I didn't care. I paid cash for 2 nights, feeling a strange liberation in the anonymity. The next morning, I sat on the peeling balcony overlooking the gray winter ocean. My phone remained off. I should have called Kim to let her know I was safe, but something held me back. For once, I wanted them to worry about me instead of the other way around. I spent that day walking the empty beach, the cold wind biting at my face. The solitude felt both alien and necessary. When was the last time I'd been alone with my thoughts? Not at work, not at home, just existing without someone needing something from me? In a small diner that evening, I overheard a man telling his buddy he needed temporary help at his fishing charter business. Without overthinking it, I introduced myself and offered my services. I'd grown up fishing with my grandfather and knew my way around boats. The man, Jack, looked me over skeptically but agreed. "Cash only, no questions asked," he said, and I nodded, relieved he didn't want my life story. I extended my motel stay and started working on Jack's boat the next day. The physical labor was exhausting but clarifying. Each time I considered turning on my phone, I imagined Kim's angry voice, the kids' accusations, and I couldn't face it yet. I told myself I'd call tomorrow. Then tomorrow became the next day, and then the next. A week passed. Then 2. I moved from the motel to a room Jack rented me above his bait shop. I grew a beard. My hands developed calluses from hauling lines and gutting fish. I called myself Dave instead of David and revealed nothing about my past. The locals accepted me as another drifter seeking solace in hard work and ocean air. Meanwhile, I wondered what was happening at home. Had Kim called the police? Were my children scared? Did they even miss me? Or were they relieved I was gone? The longer I stayed away, the harder it became to go back. What would I say? How could I explain abandoning them without a word? In my 3rd week gone, I befriended an elderly man named Ray who came on fishing charters every Tuesday. He reminded me of my grandfather, gruff but kind, full of quiet wisdom. Running from something? He asked one day as we cleaned the boat after the tourists left. Is it that obvious? Only to someone who's done it himself. We started having beers after work, and gradually, I told him about Kim, the kids, the fight, my escape. You know, Ray said, sipping his beer one evening. Disappearing feels like freedom at first. But trust me, it's just another kind of prison. That night, I dreamed of Sophia's birth, of Dylan learning to ride a bike, of Kim's smile on our wedding day. I woke up physically aching with longing for the family I'd walked away from. The next morning, I found a newspaper someone had left at the diner. I froze when I saw a familiar face staring back at me from page 3. My face, next to the headline. Search continues for missing suburban father. The article described police involvement, community search parties, my worried family. There was a quote from Kim. We just want to know he's safe. Whatever happened, we can work through it. Please come home, David. My hands trembled. In my selfish quest for space, I'd caused real fear and pain. What had started as a night to clear my head had spiraled into something unforgivable. That afternoon, I finally turned on my phone. It took several minutes to boot up after being off for so long. When it did, the notifications flooded in, 50 missed calls, dozens of voicemails, over 100 text messages from Kim, the kids, my brother, friends, coworkers. I sat on the edge of my bed, listening to the messages in chronological order, hearing the evolution from annoyance to concern to panic to desperation in my family's voices. The first voicemail was from Kim, her voice tight with controlled anger. It's been 8 hours, David. This silent treatment is childish. The next few followed a similar pattern, growing increasingly irritated. Then came the pivot. David, it's past midnight. Where are you? I'm getting worried. Her voice had lost its edge, replaced by genuine concern. By the 10th message, panic had set in. I've called the hospitals. I've called your work. No one knows where you are. Please, just let me know you're okay. The kids' messages destroyed me. Sophia's first voicemail was angry. Dad, you're being so dramatic. But by the 5th, she was crying. Daddy, please come home. I don't care about the stupid concert anymore. I'm sorry. Dylan, my stoic son who barely spoke to me these days, sounded terrified. Dad, we filed a missing person report today. Mom's a mess. Please call us back. I listened to all 50 messages chronologically, witnessing my family's journey from anger to fear to grief. By the final message, left yesterday by Kim, they seem to be losing hope. It's been 3 weeks now. The police say, they say we need to prepare for the worst. But I know you're out there somewhere. I feel it. We all made mistakes that night. Please come back to us. As the last message ended, I sat in silence, devastated by what I'd done. What had started as a selfish night to clear my head had become an act of cruelty I never thought myself capable of. I called Kim immediately. She answered on the first ring. David. Her voice was small, disbelieving. It's me. My voice cracked. I'm alive. I'm safe. She burst into tears, her sobs so violent I could barely make out her words. I heard her calling for the kids, heard their footsteps running, their voices joining hers in a chorus of disbelief and relief. Where are you? She finally managed. I told her everything. The motel, the fishing job, my cowardly disappearance. I didn't try to justify it. There was no justification. I'm coming home, I said. If you'll still have me. Just come home, she whispered. We'll figure out the rest. The drive back took 3 hours, but felt like 3 years. I rehearsed explanations, apologies, but knew nothing would be adequate. I had nearly destroyed my family because I couldn't handle a normal argument. When I pulled into our driveway, all 3 of them were waiting on the porch. Dylan was taller somehow, or maybe just standing straighter. Sophia's face was streaked with makeup and tears. Kim looked like she hadn't slept in weeks. I stepped out of the car, unwashed, bearded, a stranger returning to the life he'd abandoned. For a long moment, nobody moved. Then Sophia broke, running down the steps and throwing herself into my arms with such force it nearly knocked me over. Dylan followed more cautiously, but when he reached us, his embrace was fierce. Kim approached last, her face an unreadable mix of love, hurt, and caution. I'm sorry, I said, the words pathetically inadequate. I never meant to be gone so long. I never meant to scare you. But you did, Kim said quietly. You disappeared rather than work through a problem. I know, and I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you, if you'll let me. The road ahead would be long. There would be therapy, lots of it. Rebuilding trust would take time. Some days, the anger in their eyes would be almost unbearable. My children would have new anxiety about people leaving. My marriage would need to be reconstructed from the ground up. But standing there in our driveway, my family's arms around me, I made a silent vow. I would never again choose absence over presence, no matter how difficult staying might be. because the pain I saw in their eyes, pain that I had caused, was a burden I never wanted to inflict again. That night, as we sat around our kitchen table talking until dawn, I understood that sometimes the bravest thing isn't walking away. Sometimes, it's simply choosing to stay. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.